Red pill, man, we snapping, man. Hey, I say, man, you just got it from the island, boys. I say, shout out to Infos.com. And I say, don't worry about what anybody gotta tell you. Red pill, that's just who we are. We've been snapping for way too long.
Hey, everybody, it's me back. I was just doing the, working on the video to show everybody about what I think's what I've found out to be the likely prospect of Australia's economic future when it comes to financial type of things and government interactions and screwing us. And one of the questions that I came across as I was going through it all was about the UBI, and will have to be taxed on it, because the UBI is where they're going to fund Medicare when AI takes over the Medicare system. And UBI, because you don't have a job, so you're not paying tax, you'll have a UBI. And yes, in Australia, a universal basic income would likely be considered taxable income. It would be treated similarly to other government payments, pensions and other allowances which are generally taxable and need to be declared in your tax return, according to the Australian Government Office. The ATO would likely recoup a proportion of the UBI from higher earners through the tax system. So obviously everybody's going to get the UBI. That's why it's a universal basic income. So if you're working, you get the UBI as well. If you're not working because you lost your job because you didn't take a certain medical procedure or you hurt yourself, or for some reason you don't have a job anymore because Randy the robot has taken your job and now you are sitting on your ass at home and you've got no money. So the government will throw that money at you like they did during COVID times. It was a trial. COVID was a completely utter trial. Staying at home, like the essential workers and the non-essential, everybody else's, was purely leading up to the UBI. And it's been worked out very effectively, but it left, unfortunately, with our children and the generation today, with this high inflation, with, this huge economic debt for the country and this taxation debacle, which is going on. But anyway, so taxable income, and how high it's going to be classed as one of these high earners. What are they going to class as a high earner? I just don't understand it. They're calling it a redistribution of taxes. It's not a redistribution of taxes. It's stealing people's wealth and people's prosperity. The government did the wrong thing. They fucked up big time. They screwed things up big time. They played Russian roulette. And they dodged every bullet, and everyone else in Australia and in the Western world has copped every bullet. They're flooding our systems here with, mass migration. People are stealing our enjoyment of life. They're also taking away our children's future. They've made the price of housing and the cost of living and the cost of electricity, and this is the government. And I'm not blaming the people that come here because I can't, if you've got a shitty place that you're in, soon I might be one of those people. I might be a migrant going somewhere else. So, I can't be, too judgmental on people. I don't begrudge anybody trying to get a better quality of life. But I have asked quite a few Uber drivers. And they come from like India and places like that. And I've asked them, frankly, I don't mean to offend you, but, how long have you been in Australia? They tell me like 5 years or whatever. And I'm like, well, you look back and, do you think you've got a good quality of life here in Australia? Are you happy to be here? And they're like, oh, it was okay, but, I can't do anything anymore. I'm always working. I can't afford to go anywhere. I can't afford to do anything. It's just work, because they're all Uber drivers, right? I said they were Uber drivers. And it's so expensive. You can't afford to buy the food, can't afford to pay for any of the drinks, can't afford to do any of the drives. If it's their own car they're driving, and obviously they are, a lot of them, the petrol's too expensive. The fees that Uber is taking is too expensive. The insurance on the car is too expensive. All of those upkeep of things to make the car suitable to be an Uber car is costing them a lot of money, and they're not getting the financial return anymore. And so I've asked them, frankly, do you think your life would have been better and you'd have a better quality of life had you stayed in your country of origin instead of coming here? And they've all said yes. So it's not just for you Aussies. Don't be so but like, we're not alone. The new people coming here are just as pissed off. Once they've had a bit of time being here, they see it's not neighbours and it's not home and away and it's not throw another shrimp on the barbie and it's not kangaroos and wallabies, as pets in the backyard. It is a fucking nightmare. Housing is extremely expensive. Food is extremely expensive. Your normal grocery shop, if you've got 3 people and 2 of them eat an awful lot and you've got, a couple of pets or whatever, you're looking at $250 to $300 easy. And that's without any cleaning products. That's just food for meals. No cleaning products. And if you think about it, when it comes to electricity, and I am having a bit of a rant, I've been holding a lot of this back, but, unfortunately my cat's passing away and I need to have a distraction here, so this is it. And sorry, you've got to hear it and listen to it, but, you're here. But you think about it, the electricity is so expensive. It is over the top expensive. They've made it one of the coolest winters, so you need the heating. And then in summer, it'll be one of the hottest summers, so you'll need to have the air conditioning on. But not just that. But if you want a clean house, if you use a washing machine, if you use a dryer, if you're living in apartments, a lot of the time you don't have any sunlight. You have eaves or you have a shadow from another building, or the wind is so strong you cannot put your clothing you don't have a physical clothesline in the backyard. You might be able to have one of those little drying racks on your balcony if you're lucky. But you get bird poop on it, you get all the construction dust everywhere, and a lot of the time, as I said, you don't get the sunlight and you may not get the air and they might blow away, so your clothing does not dry. So you've got to use a dryer and that costs a lot of electricity. If you use a vacuum cleaner, that uses a lot of electricity too. If you use the dishwasher, that uses a lot of electricity. Everything has, energy. If you want a clean house, it costs a lot more to clean your house with the electrical appliances than it does in the old days when you had a broom and a mop and you had a clothesline and you used a rake or something and you go out there and you bang the shit out of your rugs, to get the dust out of them. So it's just insane. It's a big plan. It's been organised all along. So if you live like a pig and you don't use any of those electrical things, your house is going to stink and no neighbours are going to like you. But in buildings, in apartments, everything relies on electricity. Your lift relies on electricity, your security system, because we're living in a very, very dystopian world, you need security. Where I am, we had the police turn up twice in 1 week on my level. Just a unit a couple of doors down from me. So you need to know that you're secure. But anyway, I'm digressing. So this is really, really, really quite alarming. In essence, whilst everyone might receive a UBI, those with high incomes would see a larger proportion of it returned to the government through taxation. Wow. So, yeah. And they would fancy it up with maybe you'd get some type of rebate, that altruistic methods, like so many of the politicians like Donald Trump, he donated his salary because he didn't need it. But I bet you he's getting a tax rebate for that. Of course he is. Or maybe they'll suggest that, you give your money to charity and you make a donation and you get a tax write-off. Either way, you're going to be rewarded because that's them. They're going to be the higher echelon people and they're going to be the ones benefiting. So they set all the rules up so that they and those benefit. Everybody else contributes and those benefit. And it's a sick world. But anyway, this is only meant to be a small little addition into the video, but I might have to make it part 2 because it's just waffling on too long. And I haven't even got on to the whole stuff with the NHS in the UK and their council taxes because it's insane, absolutely insane. But anyway, Godspeed to all, Godspeed.
It makes me sick what I do for this shit.